Everyone talks about discipline and habits, myself included, but almost nobody asks the question underneath it. What are those built on? Because discipline and habits don't live in a vacuum. They sit on infrastructure, the physical, digital, and social systems that make habits automatic and discipline unnecessary. It's the invisible architecture beneath everything you do. Think about it like this. Discipline is effort. Habits are automation. Infrastructure is uptime. Today, we're talking about the most overlooked element holding most people back. The thing that you're probably so used to that you don't even notice it. Something that when designed right, keeps your system online, reliable, and consistent. Let's look at your environment. I've spent the past 5 years coaching people who have built systems for a living. Hackers, founders, engineers. And I've watched them debug everything in life except their own environment. The same pattern shows up every time. Fix the infrastructure and everything follows. And I don't just mean the surroundings or condition in which a person or animal lives or operates. Your environment has layers: biological, physical, physiological, and social. So let's break down the 4 environments that build or break your uptime. Your biological environment, the hardware. This is your internal architecture, the systems that control energy, focus, and recovery. How you manage your sleep, the impact that has on your circadian rhythm and your hormones. Plus, how your days run and how you feel day to day. It's the firmware your operating system depends on, and it's managed by light exposure, fuel from food, quantity and quality, as well as hydration. Your movement, how much or how little, and stress, like overall stress. Not just the shit shows you're dealing with at work, but the stress your body could be putting on your body from not looking after it, or family or financial stress. Management comes from awareness. How do you tell if a biological environment is off? Maybe you get afternoon crashes, like those times you can't keep your eyes open at your desk at 2 p.m, followed by brain fog or just being generally irritable. Struggle to fall asleep or wake up tired? When's the last time you woke up and actually felt rested? Fueling with caffeine or sugar? Shout out to the I can't start my day without coffee crew. Everything feels forced or difficult. You're slow to recover, your body sore, and motivation non-existent. Looking at those, what can we put in place to protect, patch, or improve? The number one thing that you can do to protect your biological environment is to protect your sleep. Keep your sleep and wake window consistent. Maximum plus or minus 30 minutes. Practically speaking, look at what time you want or need to wake up. And I don't mean the last possible second to get you up and out the door, because that is as high stage stress as possible. I mean a time that you can get up so you have enough time to start your day in a way that you would like to. From that, work backwards. Say you want to get up at 6 a.m. How many hours of sleep is good for you? 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep is optimal for recovery, cognitive function, and hormonal regulation. Typically, we spend about 10 to 20% of the time spent in bed not asleep. Counting for time to get to sleep, waking up through the night, and whatever else you might get up to. I understand that the reality of getting 8 hours sleep and adding 20% is 9 hours total in bed, and that is probably unrealistic for most, but good to know what you're aiming for. Leaning on the lower end of the scale, we'll call it 7.5 hours of sleep. Equates to 8 hours in bed. To get up at 6 a.m, you'd need to be in bed by 10 p.m. Working backwards from that again, what is your screen shut off time? 9 p.m? Ideally 1 hour before bed. What time is your last meal out? 8 p.m? Ideally 2 hours before bed. And what is your caffeine curfew? 2 p.m? Minimum of 8 hours before bed. 12 would be better. Now, you have the boundaries or guardrails around your sleep schedule. Data does not lie. If you can track your heart rate variability and your resting heart rate, as well as your digestion and energy curves, this gives a pretty good indicator of how your body's handling stress. How to track? Honestly, up to you. If I had $1 for every time I get asked what is the best wearable, I'd have like $43. I wear Oura. Have done for almost 7 years. I've tried Whoop, Apple Watch, Ultrahuman, Garmin, but I keep coming back to Oura. Not sponsored, just my preference. Find what works for you. The main thing is, the thing you use to track, continue to use it to track. The data will at least be consistently inconsistent. Hydration. Look, if you're new here, I'll say it again, but if this is not your first video, you already know. Managing your hydration is fundamentally the easiest, lowest barrier of entry. It's the cheapest and gives you the biggest bang for your buck, and will drastically improve your energy, focus, digestion, recovery, literally everything. A minimum of 3 to 4 liters per day with some electrolytes thrown in. 2% dehydration can equate to up to 20% reduction in performance. An easy 20% gain right away. And I promise it will remove the need for caffeine to start your day. I had a quick chat with a robot and the reports of over 75% of Americans being chronically dehydrated. Even Dill, behind the camera. I asked him about it a few months ago and this is what he told me. He had drank a coffee at 8 a.m. and then he had a beer at 8 p.m. Nothing else. Come on. Let's talk caffeine. A patch that masks low energy instead of upgrading the power supply. I'm not against using it, just please stop abusing it. In the morning, hydrate before you caffeinate, and then remember your caffeine curfew. And I do not care if you tell me that you're the sort of person that can drink an espresso with dinner and still fall asleep. The quality of your sleep will suffer and you won't even know. Think caffeine's fixing the problem or hiding it. Movement, the counter to multiple decades of 10 plus hours at your desk. Whatever you can manage in your schedule. But my recommendation, a minimum of 4 intentional sessions per week. 75% weightlifting, 25% cardio. And at a bare fucking minimum, just go for a walk once or twice a day, preferably outside and not on your under-desk treadmill. Your biology is the hardware which, when unstable, runs glitchy. Once your hardware runs clean, the next limit is the interface you operate in. Your physical environment. This is the interface layer. The way that your world around you shapes your behavior. This is your space, all of the spaces that you exist in. For many years, even before coaching, I have said that your car is a representation of your life and how you keep it clean, tidy, clutter-free, or a total dumpster fire with more coffee cups, empty food packets, drinks. Same. I let you know that if Bill keeps us in, he is laughing because this is him. And look, before I get the hate of you don't know what it's like, I have kids. Same. I have a 5-year-old that tries her luck daily on the leaving our car a total shit show. But this is true in all of your spaces. Think of all of the spaces that you exist in. At the desk or in your office, your house, kitchen, living room, bedroom, where you train, or even how you manage your stuff, drawers, cupboards, backpacks. I would take a guess to say that their current state matches across the board. If you're sat at your desk right now, what does it look like? If I were able to come through the screen right now and see, how would you feel about it? Visual clutter increases cognitive load. Subconsciously, it will elevate your stress. Those doom piles, how long have you been stacking them in the hope to one day sort them out? Your workspace boundaries, how much of your workspace bleeds into your training space or your home life? Separating them can eliminate any mental bleed between the two. The lighting, temperature and sound can all impact your ability to stay focused. Imagine a battery leaking 10% energy constantly. That's what the mess around you could be doing. There's a part of me that physically can't sit and work if something's off or out of place. So if you feel like you're struggling to start or stay on task, forever context switching or feeling busy all the time but not productive, it could be your ADHD, or it could be the space that you're trying to work in is a total clusterfuck. You've just become so used to it that you're now totally unaware. Workspace hygiene is paramount for productivity. Like, pause the video right now and go and do it, no matter how big of a task you think it is. Like, genuinely, look around. What is in your line of sight right now? If you have control over the lighting and noise, aim for clean, bright lights during the day, which I know is ironic given the fact that I sit in darkness, but the mood gives me hacker creds. Sound. Noise cancelling headphones, focus music, or silence if you can get it. I use Endel for focus or background music. Or, there's a Spotify playlist literally called ADHD Cinematic Focus Instrumental Atmospheric Soundtracks. It is epic movie and gaming soundtracks that will keep you locked in. I'll link it and Endel in the description. Dress for work. How you dress will impact how you show up, even if it's a collared shirt and shorts. This will separate work you from real life you. And finally, the doom scrolling death device. Honestly, the productivity arch nemesis. I have a complicated relationship with my phone, but my recommendation is grayscale it. The dopamine hit is much lower in black and white. If that doesn't work, check out Brick. You can make your phone completely useless with a device that you leave in the other room. Or my current favourite is Opal. Set boundaries as strict as you need on certain aspects of your device. It literally will not let you on. Plus they gamify it, so you'll at least get something back. I'll link that below as well. Your workspace is a cockpit. Take it from looking like Blade's room in Hackers to Kay's baseline test room in Blade Runner 2049. Now that your physical space has an upgrade, the next patch is running the code inside. Physiological is your OS. Internal environment is the operating system, your physiological space. Or, as my man Diamond Dallas Page would say, the 6 inches of real estate in between your ears. Bang! This is your mental ecosystem, your thoughts, feelings and emotions, made up of your input, attention, beliefs and rules. The unseen driver that decides what runs when you're under load. Your digital hygiene or your information diet. This is social media, news or even negative people. All cognitive malware. Same as how you feel your hardware, the quality of the inputs matter. And a reminder, you're in control of both. So who's really writing your internal code? Task switching, unclosed loops, unclear priorities, and open tabs. Too many context or task switches throughout the day will leave a little attention residue in the last task, leaving you running on low power mode by 2 p.m. How you talk to yourself, what you say or believe about yourself, identity conflict or imposter thoughts, lack of clarity erodes confidence, which feeds back into the negative self-talk. Poor sleep will destabilize cognition. We've covered sleep, so you get the idea. So if your thoughts are constantly racing, you're overthinking or stuck in a rumination loop, these may be the signs that your internal environment needs an audit. If you're forgetful, or more forgetful than usual, constantly reactive, irritable or emotionally volatile, you guessed it, your internal environment needs work. A simple place to start is the first hour of your day. Limit inputs, no socials. Why let someone else ruin your day when you can ruin it yourself? Look at time blocking your day. Now, this will hugely depend on the freedom that you have at work. But for me, knowing that Thursdays are content creation days, or Mondays are check-in and coaching days, frees up mental bandwidth on those and other days. From all the other tasks I feel like I should be doing, how much of what you are doing could you not be doing? Like, if you were to audit your time, what could be just forgotten about or removed? What could be delegated? So instead of adding more stuff to help, what can we get rid of? Your input hygiene. Again, something that you can't control. What do you read, watch, or who do you follow that's just not productive? Unfollow, unsubscribe, mute, block, or delete. You're a fully grown adult. You do not need the permission that you think you need. On top of all that, mini mindset resets through the day. Walk outside, like I said. Breathwork, the Wim Hof app is undefeated. Change the environment with some light cardio, or journal on it when you feel like you're spiraling. Your physiological environment is your mental firewall. What you let in decides how you run. So run it or let it run you. Once the OS is stable, the final layer is the network it connects to, your people. Your social environment, the network layer. Not to say that people are the problem, but they can be. The network layer is people, culture, and standards. Colleagues, friends, family, community, all of the social spaces you belong to. And yes, this has been a very roundabout and long-winded way to talk about belonging, but we got there in the end. In all of these spaces, what set of standards do they have, or what do they value? It's cliche as fuck, but cliche being an overused phrase generally carries some truth. You're the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're honest and you look at those people right now, what does that say about your potential future? I'm not saying that everyone around you needs to be on the same mission, but what standards do they uphold? Are they supportive and willing to hold you to a higher standard than you hold yourself? Are they willing to call you out your own bullshit? Or do they enable it? That you're fine, you don't need to go to the gym. Or it's only a bit of cake, why don't you live a little, then you eat the whole fucking cake on accident. There is and can be a huge shift in the relationships you have when you start to give a shit about yourself. I used to really get in my own head when people said you've changed, but the reality is yes, I fucking have, and I've actively been working hard to change too. There will be people who support you no matter what, and there will be people who see you do something that they can't or aren't willing to do. That mirror doesn't always have a positive outcome. And when it comes to culture and language, are the people around you aligned? Do they energize and excite you when you talk to them? Or do they drain you faster than a GPU mining on max load with no cooling? The other side of the coin is feeling isolated. The one that the people around you don't get you, or the nature of what you do means there actually isn't that many people around you. Either way, lack of belonging increases stress, or wanting to fit in can cause relapses, because the discomfort of the change and isolation is much worse than the discomfort of your current system state. The reality is, if you feel misunderstood or unseen, if you stop learning from those around you, or are no longer excited by the conversations you have, or if you no longer want to normalize mediocrity, the social environment needs an upgrade. Start by auditing the current connections. Keep in proximity to those that pull you forward. Search for and join structured communities. Shared data, shared goals, shared identity. That's a shared mission. The biggest belonging piece for the We Hack Health movement is the weekly calls, the Discord channels, and the multi-factor accountability layer. Lastly, if you aren't as ruthless as I am, don't just want to cut people out. Make sure you set and enforce boundaries with energy drainers and chronic complainers. Your environment will set your standard. Either be okay with it or change it. Environment sets standards, standards set identity. Look, I realise that there's a lot and I don't expect everything to change at once. So here's a short list of system-wide patches, moves that upgrade multiple environments at once. These are the highest ROI actions that will compound the upgrades. Your sleep-wake time with some morning light will show huge improvements in both biological and physiological environments. Set the boundaries and stick to them. Like your life depends on it, because it actually does. How different would your week feel if you just fixed this one variable? Unfuck your workspace. A decluttered cockpit removes subconscious stress and frees up mental bandwidth. You buy back focus, energy, and clarity. 2 things that I do every night: clear the physical desk, every cup, cable, and post-it note. 2, I run clean my Mac to clear the digital one. Tomorrow's version of you will thank you. When's the last time you shut down clean, physically and digitally? Time blocking. Blocks of time in your week or day create predictable structure. You still have tabs open, that's fine. They have a time slot. If possible, book yourself a dentist appointment. Not literally, but book an hour each week for a dentist appointment. An hour that you do something for you just for the sake of doing it. You'd never miss a dentist appointment, right? What would change if you defended 1 hour per week like that? Find your tribe. Find a space where you belong, where people get it, challenge the status quo, and expect more from themselves and you. Remember, you can't spell culture without cult. Who are your current 5 people and what do they normalize? Intentional output, a biological, physical, physiological, and if done right, social upgrade. A single behaviour that hits all 4 layers. Gym, run club, jiu-jitsu, walks. It doesn't matter, just get away from the desk and move with purpose. When's the last time you broke a sweat on purpose? Not just because the AC in the flight wasn't working. I'll finish with this. These patches give you the start point. From there, audit, rebuild and refine. When you build strong infrastructure across all 4 environments, discipline stops being a struggle, it just becomes who you are. So if you're stuck for where the fuck do I find a social environment that people get it? We have a Discord server with over 1,600 people putting in the work and the reps. Check it out, discord.gg/WeHackHealth. I'll see you in the next one.